And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Wonderella said, Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Wonderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 11erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 11erella. 11erella had 6 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Ella, Lola, Asha, Vada, Elsa, and Nina. All 6 of them made fun of 11erella and made her do all the chores. 11er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, clean out the pantry, do it all, said Ella, Lola, Asha, Vada, Elsa, and Nina, all together. One day, the king of 11ville's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of 11ville is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Unikopling. But 11erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Ella. No way, Ella, you're wrong. He's going to marry me, said Lola. Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me, said Asha. Vada said, all 3 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me, said Elsa. All 4 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me, Nina, the youngest stepsister, said. All 5 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, 11erella is so sad about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Unikopling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks her 11erella what's wrong by saying, There, 11erella, why are you crying, my dear? In which 11erella responds, I have lots of chores to do, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Unikopling. 11erella's fairy godmother can make her wish come true by saying, I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you. And so she waves her magic wand to clean up all the chores for 11erella. But she's not done yet, she said. 11erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 11erella has 11 pumpkins and 22 mice. 11erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 11 pumpkins into a handsome coach, 22 mice into horses, and then 11er's ripped clothes into a gown and crown. 11erella said, I've never seen such a double wonderful gown. You get a load of my glass slippers and climbs into the coach. Her fairy godmother says, have fun, 11erella, my dear, but I will warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. It gives her a clock to tell her what time it is, and so 11erella accepts the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of 11ville says, Good evening, all. My son, Prince Unikopling, was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Unikopling responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 11erella arrives at the ball just in time. Ella, Lola, Asha, Vada, Elsa, and Nina say, He's walking towards me altogether, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 11erella. May I have this dance? Prince Unikopling then asks, to which 11erella responds, I would be delighted. Prince Unikopling and 11erella dance happily together. But later, as 11 checks her clock, and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Unaccompling was so worried and sad that he might never see 11 again. The king of 11ville comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 11, my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of 11ville and Prince Unaccompling began their journey all around the neighborhood to try to find 11 and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the house where 11 Ella, Lola, Asha, Vada, and Elsa and Nina all together live. But instead of 11 they find Ella, Lola, Asha, Vada, Elsa, and Nina. Prince Unaccompling then says, Ladies, my father, the king of 11ville, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Ella is first, but her foot is too big. Lola is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. Asha, Vada, Elsa, and Nina did the same thing, but none of their feet are the right size either. Suddenly, the king of 11ville and Prince Unaccompling and noticed 11 sweet singing. She hollered excitedly, overjoyed. Prince Unaccompling and your majesty, is that you guys? The king of Unaccompling says, My dear daughter-in-law, we found you. Will you marry Prince Unaccompling? To which 11 hollered more overjoyed, Yes! And so, 11 the king of Unaccompling and Prince Unaccompling lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, interest doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and introduce everything. And I've been debating on making the sequels a bit of tradition. So if you want to see maybe someday, or 11 11 wishes come true, something like that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and introduce everything, and buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Introduce Everything proudly presents for the 3100 and episode special 31 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we, Andrews Doers? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named 31 Arella. 31 Arella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella. All 9 of them made 31 Arella do all the chores and watch her work by saying, 31 wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all. One day, the king of Untraham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Untrahamham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Untrahamling. Can I come? Asks 31 Arella, but she's denied. So her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are invited. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even test her 31 Arella's dress. Later, 31 Arella is so sad, distraught and upset about not going to the ball and marry Prince Untrahamling. Suddenly, she was crying so hard that she didn't know. Her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, my dear 31 Arella. I'll fix everything for you, she said. She then waves her magic wand. because of that, 31 chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet, she said. 31 go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 31 has 31 pumpkins and 62 mice. 31's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 31 pumpkins into a handsome coach and 62 mice and horses and fixes 31's torn dress and makes it bigger and better. 31 said, I've never seen such a 30 wonderful gown. Get out of my glass slippers, fairy godmother. How can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. 31's fairy godmother said, well, you can't. But have fun, 31 my dear. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. 31 accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Untrigichelli says, good evening, everyone. Prince Untrigichelli was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which the Prince Untrigichelli responds, yes, father. Suddenly, 31 arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, say Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella all together. But Prince Untrigichelli is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 31 Prince Untrigichelli then says, may I have this dance? In which 31 responds, I would be delighted. And so, 31 and Prince Untrigichelli dance happily together, but later. 31 checks her clock and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Untrigichelli was really worried that he might never see 31 again. The king of Untrigichelli comforts him by saying, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find 31 my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Untrigichelli and Prince Untrigichelli began their journey. All around Untrigichelli to find her 31 and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Untrigichelli knocked on the door of the home where 31 and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 31 they find Tasha to Ella. Prince Untrigichelli then said, ladies, my father, the king of Untrigichelli and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Hilda is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits! She said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Untrigichelli and Prince Untrigichelli notice saying, Your Majesty and Prince Untrigichelli, is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slipper fits! And 31 the king of Untrigichelli and the Prince Untrigichelli lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Sorry it's been a few side effects, but don't worry. And by the way, I've been debating on making some sequels. So if you want to see maybe someday 31 2, 31 Wishes Come True, or something like that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye.